Today I decided to share a story, a very personal one, which I haven't shared before in such a big audience. So be kind, okay? First of all, I'm really happy that 52 years, I'm 52 years old, 52 years of living, after 52 years of life, I can actually laugh about my biggest failure. I can think of many mistakes where I came very close and we would be crying, all of us, tonight. So I'm really happy for that. I've been asked many times about this, you know, what's your biggest failure, etc. It's very difficult to answer that. Not because I haven't failed, I've failed many times, like terrible failures. One of them costed me 6 digits numbers. I mean, very expensive MBAs, I can tell you that. But the thing is that my definition for a failure which is worth mentioning as the biggest one is one that has managed, that happened once, and it didn't remain a snapshot. Because what is the value of failure? The value of failure is the analysis of it. We learn from the analysis. We don't learn from the failure itself. If we don't analyze, it's just an incident that happened, and we just move on. But that's not the point. For me, a failure worth mentioned as the biggest one is one that, after we decided to work on it, changed fundamentally our lives for the better. So that's what I consider. And having said that, my biggest failure, and the thing I promised to tell you for the first time, is the fact that I spent several years of my life not having the guts to ask. I see many of you cracking a smile here. It's a common thing. I didn't have the courage to ask simple stuff, to ask for more, to ask for somebody to lower the music, to ask somebody out, to ask what I believe I deserved in my life. And, you know, I realized very quickly that I was living somebody else's life. When you don't choose, you live other people's lives. You use other people's behaviors. So I was feeling for several years, I was feeling like a passive poker player. The one that, you know, the dealer is throwing cards that he can change actually, but he just takes them. Whoever knows poker here understand what I'm talking about. So here's the 3, I'll take it. Here's the 7, I'll take it. The problem gets bigger when life deals you an ace, which is a great card. But if you haven't chosen the previous ones, you don't know what to do with it. And that really sucks. So my wake-up call came some 15 years ago. I'll try to make the story as short as possible. When I was working in Greece, in the club there, which was the first one in Europe that we set up, my partner at the time, she said, there is this speaker that we might want to invite, so let's call the guy. And I said, you know what, I'll meet him and see what he has to say. So I met the guy. Till today, he is considered to be one of the most iconic NLP trainers in Greece, right? Back then, I had no clue what NLP was. NBA I knew, but NLP I didn't. So I went there, I met him, and then he said, before deciding if you want me as a speaker, why don't you come to a workshop that we have next weekend and see if you like it, and then you invite me. So I said, what the hell, I'll go. I went there, completely defensive, you know, like NLP, strange people, weirdos, what are they doing, you know? So I went there waiting outside, loud music at some point, they invited us in, we got in the room, and then what I saw was some people, we were in the room, in front of some one-seater desks, and then on stage it was him and his team doing some choreography. And I thought to myself, my God, I need to leave, you know, I mean, what the hell is this? It was their idea of building up energy. So, long story short, for the first part of the workshop, I didn't move. I wanted to leave the room. The guy comes back after the break and says, listen, you know, he says everybody, but he's looking at me. He says, I see some people are not responding. My advice is, since you're here, you know, you might as well try it. If you like it, okay. If you don't like it, don't come tomorrow. I'm a good person, you know, I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I said, okay, I'll go along. And then he started, he started with some lessons about breathing, about yes, I can, all this empowering thing. And suddenly I got into the trip. And I started really feeling like, okay, I'm a weirdo too, like these people are not so weird after all, So then there's another break, and before the break, the guy says, when we come back, and before the end of tonight, you will all have done something that right now you believe is impossible. Okay, we went out, came back in, and then what I saw at the back of the stage was a stack of iron sticks, the ones we use in construction, 2 meters long, that thick. And he says, starts again with the exercises and everything, and with his wife performing on stage. At some point he says, now you will see what I promised you. They pick up the both ends of the stick, and they hold them like that, and they touch this part. This part is like really soft, right? And then they turn to each other, they start breathing, they start saying, looking, eye contact, yes I can, yes I can, yes I can, yes I can, go. And with go, they just take 2 steps and they hug. And the stick goes like this. I swear to God. I was there. And I'm like, excuse my French, what the fuck? What is this happening here? So the guy says, you all saw it, this is what you're all gonna do. Who's gonna be the first? Guess what? Guess who was the first? I raise my hand, I go on stage, I'm the defensive guy, by the way. I go on stage with a little lady, guts on this lady. We go there, we hold the stick, you just don't think about it, you are in such a state that you don't think about it. Eye contact, yes I can, breathing, go. With go, we take 2 steps, and I realize, like I wake up, I'm hugging the little lady, and I still have the stick in my office in Athens, and it's like this. I swear. When I left that day, that evening, I went to a party. As soon as I got into the party, I walked in, people were asking me, where was I before, and I was drinking. Because I was so upbeat, and I had so much energy, I'm sure that if somebody would ask me to lift a car, I would have. What I want to say here, and that concludes, the story part, is that there are 2 choices we have in life. One is for something to happen, and to acknowledge it, and do something about it. Even if by chance, like me. The other one is to just ignore what happened, and just keep on moving, carrying on with our lives, looking the other way. Because the other way is the mirror. And this is impossible to look. We can only tell the magnitude of a failure, in my book, only after we realize, not at the moment, we know it's a failure. But the real magnitude, we realize only after we tasted what we were missing all these years. This is when we know how much we hurt ourselves, how much we missed. And for me, to be honest, many times, I don't even want to think of how I would have been if God, I don't know, some other, whichever power or my partner at the time, wouldn't have pushed me to this experience. And I can tell you for sure that I wouldn't have found the courage to decide 12 years ago to move to a country that I had never been here before, no connection with Romania, and set up a business club which today counts more than 300 members by selling to these people an experience, a promise. There's no product, there's no, we sell connection. And I wouldn't be able to be here and be here in front of you, and thank you for having me. I would like to conclude by saying that our brain and the universe, these 2 amazing things, they have one common characteristic. They give us what we ask of them. But we have to ask. And if I had, if I had an advice to give you, is that everything in life, and I tell my son that, he's almost 15, is a decision. Success is a decision. Sorrow is a decision, disappointment is a decision, everything in our life, health is a decision. So 99% of our lives is a decision. So my advice to you and to everybody is don't be afraid to ask. Ask from life what you feel you deserve. Because we're all great people and we deserve the best.